we shouldn't really dismiss Nigel Farage as a buffoon, nor mock his penchant for pinstripes or pints. That would be a grave mistake, because the man who needs to be confronted is no longer merely the jester of British politics. He's becoming its ringmaster, and his TikTok charisma, his deft oratory, his uncanny ability to pillage the policy platforms of other parties before they've even been laminated, particularly in the case of the Conservative Party, these make him in the present moment a very dangerous man. He needs to be taken very seriously. Farage's genius is not in policy but in performance. Reform UK's TikTok dominance, 14 times the engagement of the mainstream parties, has nothing to do with detailed manifestos and everything to do with spectacle and presentation. He poses in hotel rooms moaning about left-wing oat milk, and the algorithm rewards him while other politicians still fumble with policy PDFs. Farage has weaponized the algorithm and seduced the disillusioned. He's built not a party but a movement, a populist echo chamber in which nuance is derided and opposition dismissed as betrayal. He is the Brexit messiah rebranded for the culture war era, and like Trump, he doesn't need to be correct, he just needs to be convincing. Farage is a demagogue with a stand-up comics timing. He deploys humour like a stiletto, cutting deep. While appearing light-hearted, he is quick, quotable, and always ready to reframe the narrative in his favour. But beneath the bravado lies strategic larceny, his economic platform scraping the barrel with bizarre... bizarre, just grabbing whatever he can, whatever seems appropriate, whatever is the flavour of the moment. Scrapping the two-child benefit cap, raising tax thresholds, restoring winter fuel payment. This reads like a combination of Labour, Tory and Lib Dem wish lists, reheated, rebranded and presented as reform. And a lot of it, I don't think you or I would disagree with a lot of this. Even before Kemi Badenoch could announce a Conservative policy on family tax breaks, Farage had filched it and posted a 1 million-view video about it. Brilliant. What Farage lacks, however, is credibility. The Institute for Fiscal Studies has rubbished his figures. His own supporters, such as Tim Montgomery, concede they don't add up, yet. And the policies, even if the policies are working, not because they're plausible, but because they're populist, they can't actually work in practice because they can't be funded. This brings us back to Hamilton, Larkhill and Stonehouse by-election, where Farage's party stands accused of injecting sectarianism into Scottish politics by misrepresenting Anas Sawar's comments about the South Asian community. And Sawar never said what Reform UK claimed, and yet Farage doubled down, insisting that his interpretation was all that mattered. And it's all that will be remembered. This is not mere political roughhousing, it's the deliberate radicalisation of campaign discourse, assigning priorities to people based on ethnicity and then weaponising that against Labour. It's a textbook example of strategic dishonesty, of Machiavellian division. Sawar called Farage a clown, a Margaret Thatcher tribute act, hungry for attention. But we should be careful. Clowns are meant to be laughed at. Farage is not funny anymore. He's venomous. And the clown that is venomous, the clown that wants attention, that's fairly frightening. Reform UK's platform is built on fantasy economics. Promises that would cost up to £80 billion annually are backed by so-called savings from cutting woke spending, net zero investments and asylum accommodation. But these figures rely on dismantling private sector infrastructure or scrapping policies that cost far less than he claims. There is no credible fiscal roadmap. What he offers is an illusion of generosity funded by phantom savings and the sacrifice of future generations. He calls this common sense. I call it a Trussonomics on steroids. In fact, I don't think I'm the only one who does that. This is like seeing Kwasi Kwarteng brought back into the limelight, and not where he's stationed at the moment, writing rather brilliant pieces and doing the occasional puff piece on GB News. No, His spirit has been rekindled. And meanwhile, Farage threatens the NHS with quiet Americanization, questions abortion rights, undermines send provisions. Reform councillors now remove Ukrainian flags and LGBTQ plus symbols as their first acts of governance, not to save money but to score points in the culture war. Nigel Farage is not a clown. He's not a patriot. He's not a man of the people. He's a cynical opportunist exploiting a vacuum of leadership and a digitally distracted electorate, and he vacuums up everything he can. He is a hoover. He's a cultural hoover. Anything that looks as if it's popular, Farage will be sucking it up. His humour disarms, his TikToks enchant, his politics corrode. He is, in the words of one critic, an arsonist still looking for something to burn. And I think in Hamilton we'll see that match in his hand and the fire he hopes to light. And that I hope you'll agree, is very worrying, because that is the next test. That is the next test to see how far Farage can go and at what point he's going to peter out. Because he will. The question is, how much damage will he do before that? In much the same way as Kemi Badenoch will resign from the Conservative leadership. The question is how much damage she will do to her party before that. It's a waiting game at the moment.